So here's my first large batch boil of 2022 for maple sap. The pot right now has about um, 3/4 full of sap. Um, there's still some ice in my bucket that we'll have to thaw, and then I'll add it more later. So I have this control box I made up. It's pretty ugly, but as you can see right there, this is in degrees Celsius. The pot is warming up right now. I have it set to shut off the power at 100 degrees Celsius, just as a trial, just to see where we're at as it's warming up, to make sure it works. So the power out goes to this induction cooktop, and when the temperature is reached, you can see the temperature sensor on the pot right there. When the temperature is reached for it to shut off on this little thermostat, the induction cooktop will lose power, and then as the temperature comes down, it'll get power back, but it won't automatically start up again. I have to manually do that. So this is a great way to prevent from overcooking the sap and turning it into a hard mess in the bottom of the pan, in the pot. So I have a similar setup as I did last year. This little stick here, this skewer, goes to a piece of wood block that is going to float on top and give me a level indication of how much is in there without having to take the lid off. And I'm using a clothespin to hold all that wood up and away from the sap so it doesn't get soaked in. So when I want to check the level, I'll just unclip the clothespin and drop that down in and check, and then put it back up to the top so it doesn't get all soaked. This year I'm using, last year I used some weights on top of this pot to hold the lid down. This year I found that these little paper clips do a really good job at grabbing the lid and holding it down, so I have 4 of them. And this year, instead of having the dryer vent condenser run horizontally in a straight line to a collection pot, I have 2 lengths now, and I have it spiral up. So the steam will spiral up and exhaust out the top, but all that way it should be condensing against the walls, and it's going to drain down to a couple of small holes that I have in this low point, and they're going to drain into this coffee can that I can empty out later. So this will also be a good way for me to gauge how quickly the boiling is happening, and establish a rate so I can just kind of, without having to monitor this thing the whole time, predict when I should come down and check it when it's nearing the end of its initial boil. And then I end up taking it upstairs in a more comfortable kitchen area to do the final boil down to the consistency that I want. But this setup should help prevent too much humidity from coming in the house from boiling all this sap, but at the same time it allows all the heat from boiling to stay in the house, and it's still heating season, so there's not really, it's a pretty efficient way to do it. There's not a lot of losses, but I still end up with nice homemade maple syrup, which I think is great. Alright, thank you.